So anyways, we got this thing with a California lean on it. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In this video, we are going to be working on this rear differential, or whatever you want to call it. And basically what we're going to do, I think it'll work. I don't know if it's going to work on this frame though. It's got that piece up here. I want to keep that, but it's pretty long here, where the rest of the frame's kind of not. So I'm not sure if this is actually going to work, but what we're going to do is we're going to unbolt this thing right here and right there. And we're going to basically flip and spin this differential. And then there's some brackets here. These brackets, these L brackets, have got to be spun. We're going to pull this pulley off because I'm going to do a pulley swap. In theory, it should be a 10-minute job, but I think I'm going to have to come in here and cut some of this frame out in order to get that differential in. Basically, that pulley will be in the same position, except upside down. This thing will be up on top, and the pulley will be on the bottom, but it'll just be flipped like this and then spun 180. At least that's the theory. We'll see how that works out. The first thing we're going to do, and just on a side note, the shop dog, Buffalo, is in the house. He's going to be out here with us for a while. I don't know how long he's going to stay, but he's going to help out as much as he can, which will be nothing. It's getting in the way, but he'll be here. So what I'm going to try to do first, I'm going to try to get this pulley off, and it's on with a snap ring. I've been messing with it for about 5 minutes, and I kind of got the snap ring started off. So I'm going to see if I can get the snap ring popped the rest of the way off. I had this tool to use, but I got a couple different set of teeth for this, but I don't got the right one. So anyways, I'm just going to take my pliers. You ain't going to be able to see this, but just run this thing around. Because my hands are going to be in the way. But there it is. And there's the little snap ring. And now, I mean, obviously it's not going to pull off that easily. I wouldn't think so anyways. That's probably rusted on there. I'm going to also have to take off my shifting linkage. So this is my shifter over here. Alright, it comes across. And you can see there's a bolt right there. That's the bolt I'm going to take out. I'll take that off. That'll take that shifting linkage off. I could take that other bolt off too, but I'll just leave that one on for now. Take that big bolt there off. That'll disconnect my shifting linkage. And then I think we're good to drop this differential. You want to go in the house? You want to go in the house? You want to go? You want to go in the house? You want to go in the house? Huh? You want to go in the house? You tired of being a shop dog? You tired of being a shop dog? Let's go. Let's go in the house. Come on. Let's go in the house. Let's go in the house. Let's go. Let's go in the house. Come on. You got to sit down for me. Sit down. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, you're a good puppy. Yes. He's a good puppy. All right. Let me take you in the house. I thought maybe I'd have to get some kind of wheel puller out. And I might still, but I took some of this stuff. Some of this PB blaster I got laying around. I soaked it down, and what I've been doing is just been going back and forth with my hands, and this thing is moving. Well, it was moving. Crap. There it is. And it won't come the whole way off though. Let me spin it a little bit. There it comes. Oh, there it is. Ah, crap, it's stuck. Come on. There it comes. There it is. So, there's my pulley. I wanted to get that off before we drop this differential. But now we got that off, we can go ahead and start dropping this differential. We got our shifting linkage off. Just that one bolt. We went through and took that bolt out. Set that to the side for now. And now I got 2 bolts right here on this side, and I got 2 bolts on the other side. And that should be the only last 2 bolts that's holding this differential from dropping down. There might be a bolt back here. Yeah, there's a bolt on the front side. I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not. Yeah, maybe. But you can see this bar coming down right here. This bar comes down. There's a bolt that bolts in to the back side there. Actually, there's one on this side too. So there's one that, so I got 4 bolts. I got 2 bolts here, 2 bolts on the other side, then I got a bracket that comes down off this side, and a bracket comes down off this side. So you're making some progress now. You can see down here we've got the back bolt out on both sides. I'm hoping you can see that. We just got the front bolt in there. It's loose, but it's holding it in. Then up inside here, you can see this bracket. There's a bolt right here. That bolt's loose. The top bolt, there's 2 bolts here, so I took the top bolt out and the bottom bolt's loose. Same thing on this side. You can see that bolt. You might not because this thing might be in the way. But it's the same thing. There's 2 bolts, and I got 1 bolt out and 1 bolt loose. So this time 4 bolts are holding this thing in. So now we're going to drop this thing back down to the ground, take them 4 remaining bolts out, and then when we jack it back up, this differential will stay on the floor. So my differential is down on the floor and I jacked the frame back up. So the next thing we got to do is these 2 L brackets. They're just bolted in by them 2 bolts. There's 2 bolts there and there's 2 bolts there. What we're going to do is unbolting them and just spin them 180. So this piece here will end up being up here somewhere. I don't know where exactly. Same thing on that side. And then I can set my differential kind of like put it back down to where it needs to be, drop the whole thing back down and kind of line it up. I got a line drawn and you probably can't see it, but right there is a line that I scratched into the paint, and that's where the pulley's got to be lined up with the pulley with the motor. So whenever we flip this thing around, we'll have to make sure that lines up, and that's what we're trying to do. We're lining that pulley up with that line so we're still straight. So we got the belt coming straight back from the motor. It's going to be up there and come straight back to the pulley that's going to be on the bottom side of this differential. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull these 4 bolts off and spin these L brackets and kind of get an idea of where we want these things to be sitting to get us down to about a 3-inch, to get our frame about 3 inches off the ground or so. So I took my L bracket and I took it off and I just spun it 180 and put it back in the exact same bolt holes that it was in to begin with, except upside down. So this thing was basically sitting on there like this, right? I just spun it 190, moved it to the outside and put it in the exact same bolt holes. I don't know if that's going to be right yet, but that's where we're going to start at and we'll see. Because my line right in here somewhere, that's what my pulley has to line up with. So I got to adjust these up and down until my pulley lines up with this line. That's the most important thing. That, and then the fact that I can't have the frame dragging the ground. So whenever that pulley lines up with this and the frame's not touching the ground, we're good. So again, the thing about this is you can see there's 3 bolt holes over here and 1 bolt hole here. So this one was bolted on there basically like that, right? So I got 3 different options of how far I can move this. So this is the standard option here. I could actually bring it down, or that's the standard there, bring it up 1 or bring it up 2 and be that high. So you can see the differences of what I got with the different options I got. I could actually drop it down like this if I needed to bring it down. If none of these holes line up, then we can use one of these 3 holes, or maybe we can come up higher and then drill our own holes if we need to go higher or lower. But I'm thinking one of these sets should be the right one. We'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one bolted on over here. Then we'll drop this frame back down and kind of eyeball it and get it lined up and just readjust until we get these where we want them to be. And we can just bolt them back on. So we got this thing down on the ground, and what I ended up going with was I got it in the bottom set of holes. So it's the bottom. That's where I got my measurements, where I got figured out where my pulley is going to be lined up with that line. Let me show you how I did that. So this is my new pulley. We are also doing a pulley swap when we lower this, and I figured I'd put this pulley on now. That way when I get this thing bolted in, it won't be as hard to change. Although it's probably coming off before I'm done, but I figured I'd get it on now anyways. So that's my new pulley. It is 2.5 inches. My old pulley was right here that came off of it, and that was a 9-inch pulley. So we're going down to 2.5. I hope that's not too small. I guess we'll find out, but that's what we got. So that's ready to go back in. So the next thing I got to do is I need to come over here and I need to mark along this line here, along here, and I need to measure how thick these are so I can measure up, and then I can measure, and I got to cut a section out, a square section here, in order for those two to slide in so we can bolt them back onto there. So that's what we're going to do next. Once that's done, this thing's going to be ready to go back in. So when I flip this differential, we still want the wheels to turn forward. So we can't just flip it, we got to flip it and actually spin it. I got my small pulley on, I don't mean anything. But anyways, this is the way the differential was sitting in the tractor originally. So the pulley's up on top, this is the exact orientation. So what we got to do is we got to flip it over and spin it 180. Put it back in so the tires will still spin in the forward position. How we do that is we spin this thing back like this. So this will flip it over like that. And then we're going to spin this thing 180. And now, grab this thing like this. This thing goes right in like that. And when you hook the pulley up, it'll still spin in a forward position. So that's spinning and flipping the differential so you still go forward when you put it in first gear. So we are still out here. I got the dog out here with me. He's been out here all day hanging out with me. Hey Bubba Lucy, you ready to go? Ready to go in the house? Huh? You ready to go in the house? Yeah, you are. We'll go in here in a minute. So anyways, we got this thing with a California lean on it. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got this differential dropped. We got it raised up. We got this back end about where we need it. We still got a lot of stuff to do with this thing, but we got the back end down. I mean, we got this thing here we got to deal with. Our shifter, our gears are over here. We got to figure out how we're going to put the seat back on here because I had to cut that bracket off. There's still a lot of work, but we got this thing basically where we need it to be. It's going to be about 3.5 to 4 inches off the ground when it's all said and done. The next thing we're going to work on is this front end. That'll be in the next video. We're going to drop this front end and get it down to where it's the same level as that back end. And you can see here, where we're looking at ground clearance right now. This differential might come up like 3/4 of an inch yet. My pulley is close to where it needs to be. I don't think it's perfect, but it's close. But I've got it set on there and a couple bolts that's holding it on just to get this, get an idea of what we're working with here. But we're done with this one. For now, we're gonna come back and start working on this front end, and we still got a lot of stuff to do on the back end. Got to put a gear shifter on. It's a lot of work left on this one.